Hi, lovely viewers. My name is Millie. Welcome and welcome back to this channel. If you're new here, thank you so much for passing by. If you don't mind, kindly subscribe. And if you're a returning viewer, thank you, thank you, thank you. Thank you for supporting me. All right. So, guys, today I am hosting a couple, Mr. and Mrs. Winston Kaku. Am I saying it right?
Yes,
As you
you're
can
right.
see, wifey and hubby. They've just gotten married on 8th of May 2023. So they are a fresh couple. And I would love them to kind of take us through their journey of, first of all, how did they meet? And then the experience of getting married here in China. Without wasting any of your time, let's dive into it. All right. Hello, Mrs. Kaku.
Hello, Sister Millie, and hello, everyone.
Hello, Mr. Kaku.
Hello, and hello to everyone watching.
All right. So, how did you guys meet?
Yeah, we met in 2015. I had entered tertiary university. So the first year, I joined the Adventist Fellowship. He was part of the welfare team. So they organized a socialization trip for us. We went and then we became friends. Yeah,
That is which year?
that was in 2015.
Oh.
Yeah. So we were friends for 3 years. When I got to my third year, he was doing his national service. He had completed school, but he was still on campus. Then that was where he proposed to me, and I had also grown fond of him, so I accepted. And after a year, he traveled to China for his master's. So I was left in Ghana for 3.5 years, almost 4 years. Then after that, I joined him here for studies too. Yeah.
They're from Ghana. I forgot to mention that. Do you have anything to add on your journey when you met? How you met?
Yes, it was an excursion, and the purpose for the excursion was to have the first years who have just entered the university to be able to socialize with the continuing students. Yeah, but we realized that the purpose for which we went on the excursion was not being met because the freshers were alone and the continuing students were alone. So one of our leaders said, we have to mingle with the first years. And when he said that, I was just looking around to see who is the
Next
first
to
year
you.
student who is next to me. So when I turned, she was the one closer to me.
Wow.
And I said, okay, you are my new friend.
Wow.
And that is how our friendship began.
Oh.
So we're saying hi to each other when we meet at church. It got to a time that we became very close that if she doesn't hear from me for a day, she doesn't feel fine.
Are we talking about her? Then how about you?
I also go for lectures and I want to stay after lectures to see if I'll see her on campus before I go back to my hostel. Yeah, so almost every day we were happy to see each other.
Wow.
So it grew like that.
Wow. But when you turned to her to say hello to the neighbor, or to say, you're my new friend, did you had anything at all for her?
In fact, I didn't have any intention of us entering into a relationship apart from friendship.
Oh.
Yeah. And I don't think she either had that thought.
Did you?
No, I didn't. Even after we met, it was just hello, hi for a long time before we became so close. So it was just, you're my new friend. I was like, okay.
Oh. During that time, were you in a relationship?
Yes, I was.
Oh, and were you, Mr. Kaku?
No.
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 Oh, okay. Okay. Wow. So you broke someone's heart.
No, it was kind of a complicated one. I don't want to go in there, but it was all good because I wouldn't have met my husband.
I know. Tell me about it. All right. So fast forward. Let's go to the part where you got married. You've recently just gotten married here in China. Were your parents here?
No.
Were your parents here, Mr. Kaku?
No, our parents joined us online.
Yeah. Oh, guys. Meanwhile, this was my first wedding to attend here in China, and I learned a lot of things. Like, things can happen without you actually knowing that they're happening. They did the wedding, their parents attended online. How does it feel? How did it feel? Okay.
Well, everybody would want to share his or her beautiful day with family and loved one. And Dominic and I, we were well known by our families and friends. So people were anticipating to join us on our wedding day. So even when our friends back home heard that we were doing it here, some were like, oh, we should have. But life happens. I knew what I was going in for. I knew that my family and friends wouldn't be here, so I prepared myself, even though it wasn't easy because I really wished they would be here. And my mom will call sometimes and she'll be like, you should have done it here. She understood it anyway, but there was that kind of feeling. Yeah, but it is life and this was what was happening. So we had to embrace it and then move on. Yeah.
I get it. How did it feel, Mr. Dominic?
I would say that our parents were, even though they joined the wedding online, but they were not totally left out. Before we had the wedding, we come from a setting that you have to do traditional marriage before you're able to do this kind of wedding. Yeah, so in our absence, the two families met at Ghana to do the traditional marriage. I think 2 weeks or 3 weeks before the wedding, right? Yeah, so they had already done this, and according to our tradition, that is even the marriage.
Yeah.
The wedding we do is just to show the public that and the church. But the marriage itself is what they did at Ghana, the two families.
So what is considered as married wedding is the traditional one, not the white wedding.
Yes.
Oh, okay. Unlike back
Because
home,
you cannot do the white wedding.
yeah, without the traditional
the
one. Yeah.
traditional one.
Yeah. Okay. And what were the challenges that you guys faced that you think you wouldn't have faced if you did the wedding back home? I'll start with Mr. Kako.
You do a lot of preparations because it's a whole big event, and being in a country where there is a language barrier, we try to speak the little Chinese we have. we can't speak. So
can you speak Chinese?
Indian.
A little. Can you speak Chinese? Oh, okay.
See how she said the Indian. That means she can't even
speak. From Dominic.
Okay.
Yeah, so
the language
getting some of the things done were difficult because, for instance, getting hotels for foreigners who were friends who were going to join from other cities. It was so difficult because in China there are some hotels that are not for foreigners. A lot of the hotels.
I know.
If it is 100%, just 10% are for foreigners. Yep. So we roam and roam. We're not getting places where we host our visitors. So that was one of the biggest challenge. And we also had a challenge about getting a ring. Oh. In fact, ring is so expensive in China.
Tell me about it.
And that was
Could you please show us your ring?
That was when.
Oh, they're too expensive.
That was when we got to know that Chinese tradition, they cherish ring very much. Oh. That even grandmothers and grandfathers can buy it for their grandchildren as a precious gift given to them.
Is it the same case home?
No.
Yeah, they're cheap, right?
Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah. You can get some within your budget, but here it was way.
You go to some places and you're told a ring is around 45,000 yuan, 70,000 yuan.
No way!
Like, that one alone can even do the
no way!
Yeah, so we kept roaming and roaming. Wow. And the kind of ring they have is different from what she preferred. Their rings are very small one, very thin in nature.
Oh, yeah. You wanted something that has some kind of meat.
She wanted something that
big.
Wherever she is, it will be visible. No. People can easily see it. But I was not much focused on the ring. So at a point in time, I got frustrated.
I know.
She should do it.
Like she should find a ring herself.
Work on the ring.
Oh no!
And she did well. She was the one who got us this. Yeah, she found a company that would produce what we wanted.
Oh wow! Yeah. Okay, So those are the
Yeah, those
main
are the two
challenges that you
challenges.
think
Yeah.
you faced. Okay, let's go to Mrs. Winston. What are the challenges that you think you wouldn't have faced back home?
Yeah, I was new here. I had just come to China for some few months, and we had to do the marriage. So every most of the things were on Dominic. The things that I did were my out like my appearance, the things I wear my gown and other things. It was difficult even getting a gown because we Africans, we have our style. Yeah, and the Chinese, the type I wore on my wedding day, most of the shops, almost all the shops we went, the gowns were like that, and I didn't want that type. So we had to check online. We got someone who wanted to do it for it was a whole lot. So fortunately, I met this lady sister at where I am, and she took me to this shop. We roamed and roamed. It was very difficult for us even getting the gown, and they were so expensive. They were so expensive. Like we were told that they especially sew the traditional one and the African style and send it back home. So getting some here is somehow difficult. Yes, so all the styles we got from the shop were the Chinese style. Yeah, so I was just tired of everything. And I had to just select something. So the gown, and then buying things. Sometimes I'll be online because Dominic was handling most of the things. I had to do the little that I could, and then I'll buy something online. It will come and it is a whole different thing. Yes, it wasn't easy. So I was thinking, if I will, I remember my friend just got married back at home. I was in Ghana when she was selecting the gown. We were three friends. We met her. We went to the shops, and it was we even having us around her was something. But here it was you alone, and I was even lucky. I always say that the church I met and some people I met back at where I am, they really supported in a way, and in a way I felt that I was getting this. Yes, I was not alone. But those were some of the things that, and the things that here are very expensive. They are very expensive. When you are using the money here, it is really expensive. Even the venue we used for the whole program, it was really expensive. Yeah, so
Surprisingly, let me tell you guys, when I was seeing the wedding, I'm like, I think it is cheaper to do the wedding here because it looks actually cheaper. Come on, the gown, you're just telling me right now that it is expensive. The rings, like literally, we get everything that are home from here. So you're like, I'm at the best. You can get a wedding at 2,000 kwa, you're done. A ring at 500, which is so good. You're
Yeah. So
wow.
because in China, wedding is a big business to them. Yeah,
Oh,
it's a very big business. They don't do this Western style of
I
wedding.
know,
They
I
have their
know,
own type of wedding.
I know.
Yeah, and it made things tougher because we couldn't do their style. We
Your
had to do our
style,
style. Yeah,
and
so
yet it was
yeah, yeah,
expensive.
it was. But comparatively, when you compare us to going to Ghana to do it
Mm,
and
mm,
coming back, the two of us,
mm.
our transportation would have.
Oh,
So we did that comparison to see
oh,
which one would be cost effective,
mm,
and we realized
mm.
that even though we were spending much here, but if we
It
do
was
it
a
here,
little
it
bit
will,
cheaper.
yeah, than when you go to
Oh,
Ghana.
so do you have
And
any benefits that you guys got
yes,
from doing the wedding here, other than the cost
of course, we
eliminations?
had a lot of benefits, and the first one is the church supported very well,
Oh,
including yourself, the members of the church. In fact, everybody, we were surprised. Everybody wanted to give his or her best to make it a reality. And it was so good. Muchi, in fact, I can't mention the names.
oh, I
Dominic,
know,
a
I
lot.
know.
Everybody was, Starami, everybody was giving his or her best to make it work.
Yeah.
Yeah, so even though our families were not here, our Ghanaian friends were not here. We had just few of them here,
Mm,
but our church members showed that we are really a family here, and that's one advantage we got.
we thank God.
And
We
the church
thank
did
God.
so well. The church
Mm,
did so well.
mm.
Pastor and her wife. Her wife was our event planner, and that was so good.
You would have seen the church
Did
during the
certain things
wedding
behind
time.
the scenes, and
They
they were so helpful.
It was
Yeah,
so
yeah.
nice. Ah,
So that's an advantage that we got here,
mm.
having a church. So I would use this opportunity to tell people who belong to a church that whenever you travel, please take your church seriously. There are benefits that comes with fellowshipping with the people of God.
Amen. Amen. I also mentioned this guy here. If you have anything like you're not really sorted out with the church programs, you don't know who's going to do what, just tell him, Mr. Cap, oh, it's okay. I'm ready. Like he's always ready. May God bless you for that. Let's try to wrap it up. How long have you been married?
So tomorrow will be 2 months.
Wow.
Tomorrow is 5th
Uh-huh.
October, right? So that'll be 2 months. Exactly
2 months. Exactly.
Yeah, so
2
tomorrow
months.
is our 2 months anniversary.
If I may ask, how is marriage, Deborah?
Marriage is a beautiful thing, when we got married, people were asking, so how is the marriage life? It was just the normal living, you just sleep, you wake up, and because my husband was then on holidays, so life was easy. But as time went on, I now started experiencing the duties of a wife, you know, and the fighting and all that, sometimes sometimes he will just do something that you are not happy about. Sometimes I also do something that he's not happy about. You go for some hours without talking. Maybe if you want something, you just ask him. So that was when the reality sets in. But we will then solve our issues. We are back together like we never fought. And I think here too, you are alone. Like we are all alone, so we are all that we've got.
Exactly.
Yeah, so it's not like home that you can go to your mom and here your mom will call you. Wouldn't even tell your mom that this and that. So we always try to solve our problem, and it's a beautiful thing. Now you wake up, you know that you have someone to talk to. If you are going through something, you have someone. Yes. So that's the reason why when I go to Chendu, I'm not able to stay there. But he will also be like, when are you coming back? When are you coming back?
Me, are you sure?
I'll tell you guys, this lady here is still a student. Apparently, she's not. They're in different cities, but she every time me I see her at church, I'm like, so when did you come? It's like, I'm just here. Next Sabbath, you won't see me. Next Sabbath, I see her again. I'm like, Mr. Keku called me. He wanted me to.
The distance is so far, but when you are coming, you don't even think about it. And you have to wake up as a wife. You have to do certain things. My husband helps me most of the time, but you have to plan. Sometimes I'll ask him, Dominic, what would you want to eat this morning? He'll be like, this question is difficult. Give me the options. Sometimes I'll be like, you are making it more difficult for me. So these are like the beautiful sides. I am really enjoying marriage. Yeah, I have now seen the difference between marriage and dating. Yes, before we were dating. The moment we got married, I was not really seeing the difference. But as time goes on, yes, I'm now seeing the difference. Your responsibilities that you are supposed to take, and then issues will come, but you have to solve it and move on because you don't have anywhere to go.
How long have you guys been mad at each other since you got married? Like, how long has it taken? In a day, let's say I'm angry at you, I'm pissed at you. Like, has it gone for how long has it taken? The longest.
The longest. Do you remember?
You went to the park and you were coming.
Oh, she mean the longest period.
Yes, the longest hours, the longest time it has taken when you took a fight.
Yeah, I don't really remember, but sometimes if it happens early in the morning, by the close of the day,
you're good.
We get it settled.
I can imagine the feeling before you actually sorted out. You're like, I miss her, but I can't talk to her. I miss him, but he pissed me off. You should apologize. No, he should come. Do you have such kind of things?
Yes, but I don't know. Men sometimes they feel some way. They
feel they have that ego of you should come to me.
He knows that what he did was wrong.